Okay, we are going to start with our speaker, and I found out this morning he's originally an East Side Indianapolis guy and currently lives in Franklin. So he's going to talk to us about his challenge in life and what he's committed to. So please join me in welcoming Brian Alvey of Warrior 110.
I always laugh when somebody gives me a microphone. I'm generally not known for needing one, being a former drill sergeant. First, I want to thank everybody for having me. I want to send a special thank you to JC for inviting me to come in and speak with you guys today about something that's near and dear to my heart. I won't take up a lot of your time. I know this is early and you guys all are go-getters in life, so you're off to go earn your day's wage. So a little bit about me. Again, as you were told, my name is Brian Alvey, and I started an organization with a dear friend of mine that I served with by the name of Adam Smith a little over a year ago, called the Warrior 110. Adam and I served together in Afghanistan back in 2004, where we became friends, and then fast forward, our military careers took us to different places, and so the friendship kind of went on pause. We didn't see each other for quite a few years. We didn't connect until a few years later, probably closer, I don't want to date myself too much, but maybe 10, maybe 15 years later, we reconnected and everything, and we both found out that we had a very similar, difficult time in our life. Both of us had suffered from some things, a lot of people with traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress, those the things that are plaguing a lot of our combat veterans today. And we started sharing our story with each other, but one of the things that we both recognized that we were incredibly lucky by the grace of God, somehow or another we pulled through it on our own. I can't emphasize enough, in all capital letters, very lucky that we were able to pull it through on our own. So, as former non-commissioned officers, we're both retired now. I retired in 2012. I got medically retired from some issues from having gotten medevaced out of Afghanistan. And then he retired a few years later. He was a little younger than me. He retired, I believe, in 2017 out of, I believe it was 19 Special Forces Group. And we decided, we've got this friendship rekindled. Let's do something with it. Let's do some cross-marketing with our businesses. We both have this amazing disease called entrepreneurialism, and so we both have quite a few companies that we own and operate and spend way too much time with. But that's our mission in life now. So he being in New Albany and me being up here in Franklin, Indiana, right in the middle of Johnson County, we decided, hey, cross-marketing our businesses really, we're in two different industries, we're geographically, it doesn't make any sense, let's not force it, and we quickly adjusted to, let's just do something to support our fellow veterans. What can we do, so obviously something that's near and dear to our hearts, the post-traumatic stress, the traumatic brain injury, chronic pain, and then the epidemic that is veteran suicide right now. We always say there's 22 veterans a day that commit suicide. Well, we just got the words, hey, we're down to 17. I'm like, that's from attrition. We're running out. I mean, that's just naturally going to happen. One day it'll be zero. We'll all be gone. That's a ridiculous number. That'll get me off on a tangent about the VA. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to keep this 100% positive. But let's do something about those things. So we kicked it around, and then it just kind of got shelved for a couple weeks. He's off down in New Albany doing what Adam does, and I'm up here doing what Brian does. And the sadistic, demented light bulb flashed above my head. I said, yeah, I got an idea. I immediately called him. I said, hey, I got an idea. Are you in? He goes, hell yes. What is it? And I said, okay, we're going to get those Ranger rucks out, and we're going to, 45, 55-pound rucksack load, and we're going to road march from your business, which is right there next to the Ohio River, to my business, which is in downtown Franklin. So it's just a hair under 120 miles. So originally it was going to be the Warrior 120. Like, let's not be liars. Let's back it up to 110. So we're going to road march from your business to my business, and we're going to raise awareness for post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury, chronic pain, and the veteran suicide epidemic, and maybe a little bit of money for veterans, and that's it. And he's like, holy crap, that's a horrible idea, but let's do it. And he's a goer. He gets after it in life. I love him. So 2.5 weeks later, there's a whole lot of train up there. 2.5 weeks later, we decided to do it over the 4th of July week. So we actually finished on the 5th of July. So we marched right through the 4th of July. But we stepped off on the 1st and we finished on the 5th. And we decided, so the organization that we supported that year, because I had no time to get the 501c3 to put the back together, working with the government. That's not going to happen immediately. So we have since created, the Warrior 110 is a full 501c3 non-for-profit organization. So we both agreed we don't want to touch any money. So we're going to raise some money, but we don't want to touch it. So we hooked up with an organization that's led by a gentleman that I served under. Adam did as well at some point. Hoosier Veterans Assistance Foundation. They walk point on helping homeless veterans in Indiana, based out of Indianapolis. That's led by General Brian Copes, retired, and he's an amazing man. So I knew that money was going to be put towards 100% good. There was not going to be any misuse of those funds. So we just told everybody, donate directly to them. We don't want to touch it. And I think we hit close to $50,000 a few months later when you added it all together. The Facebook giving alone was close to 20. They like to sit on that money for a while, so we're using PayPal now. So we raised those funds throughout that walk. We got a lot of earned media. The news came out. We were on the radio. We were in the paper, and we raised a lot of awareness. We raised a lot of money. And somewhere post hangover of that walk, where our feet didn't feel like we were going to fall off, we decided, let's do it again. Let's do it every year. So I immediately said, we are not doing it in July again. We're old, we're brittle. This isn't happening yet. So let's do it in the fall. Let's do it let's do it. Let's start on the 7th of November. Let's finish on the 11th of November, which is appropriately Veterans Day. Let's do that. And then I realized how cold it was last year on Veterans Day. So this is going to be a challenge in a whole different realm. But we took off, and I don't know how much you guys know about down in southern Indiana. Just north of New Albany is this place called Floyd's Knobs. So you got two guys in their mid to late 40s who haven't done this in over a decade-ish. Mount up 45, 55-pound rucksacks and take off walking. And the first day, we took off at like 9 that morning, and by noon, it's 93 degrees, 100% humidity, and we're walking straight uphill, and we're both looking at each other like, what in the hell are we doing? We only got about 16 miles in that day. Most of the time, we were just off the side of the road. We call it the rucksack flop, just laying there about to die. But somewhere through all our training and all our hardwired mental mechanisms, we found our gear the next day, and we burned out 44 miles that next day. So the third day, not as much, because we were definitely hurting. The culminated at the end of this thing, and my feet looked like I had leprosy. We walked the skin right off our feet, but we did, in those 5 days, we made it all in. Well, in the fourth day, we made it up to Camp Atterbury. We invited everybody to join us in that last 10-mile trek into Franklin. We had 25, 35 people walk with us that last 10-mile stretch. It was great. We showed up to the Mint in Franklin, which is one of the businesses that I own, and we commenced to having a big old party and celebrated the whole thing. The folks from HVAF came in, organization that I'm very good friends with, Horse Soldier Bourbon. They came in, they sponsored, they helped raise a lot of money, and it was just a huge success. And like I said, when the hangover of our body didn't feel horrible, which it took me quite a few weeks, we decided to do it again, and we just make it an annual thing. So this year, what we're going to do is we're going to raise funds for a different organization. This organization is called the Brian Bill Foundation. Brian Bill was a SEAL Team 6 Navy SEAL that tragically lost his life in Extortion 17 when you guys remember the helicopter that went down with a couple dozen operators in the helicopter. So his father, who's also a veteran, decided to start this foundation. It's based out of Florida, and what they do is they work with special operations combat veterans that struggle with the aforementioned things that we walk point on trying to help with: post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury, chronic pain. And they do it through equine therapy. You get out there and you work with the horses, and you take care of the horse, you ride the horse. They do eye rest meditation, they do yoga, they do all these really cool things that to teach guys how this stuff doesn't go away. what you have to do is you have to learn how to cope with it, how to deal with it, just like anything else. So they help you teach those coping mechanisms. The problem in our community is you fall down, you get hurt, you get up. We're taught our entire career, you get hurt, you get up. Get up, walk it off. Are you hurt or are you injured? And then we start blurring that line between the hurt and the injury. Am I hurt or is it just, or am I injured? I think I'm just hurt. I'm gonna walk this off. You'll hear Adam and I constantly banter with one another, like, walk it off. You walk it off. No, you walk it off. And it's kind of a joke between us. But you try to walk off things. Some things you can't walk off because you physically can walk it off. But if you sprain your ankle, you go see the doc, you go see the medic. But if you sprain the most sensitive, important aspect of your body, your brain, your mental mechanism, you're like, walk it off. Makes no sense. So we had to we're trying to help break that stereotype of you're weak, you're not strong because you wouldn't ask for help in those aspects. So that organization's welcome point on teaching those coping skills. We're trying to bring awareness to it that it is okay, and at the same time, this isn't just for us. This is for everybody. We do not have a monopoly on post-traumatic stress, TBI, not even close. There's far more people in our society walking around with these issues. There's people from sexual assault, a really bad car accident, and numerous things from, let's face it, a lot of people had a horrible childhood. So there's people walking around with post-traumatic stress. So no different than what, triage and emergency medicine, our learning curves go vertical during war. Well, it's about time we also focused on the psychological and mental aspects as well. And I think we've come a long way in the last decade. We've been doing that. So we go down there. I actually had the honor and the privilege to go through that program a little over a year ago, closer to a year and a half ago. I got to go through the Brian Bill Foundation, one of the retreats that they put on for former guys. It was amazing. I had already, what I like to say, kind of got out of the tunnel of my issues to a point, but it's a constant maintenance thing, and so I agreed to go down there. A little leery about it at first, I have to admit, but it was a wonderful decision that I made to go down there. Trying to get Adam down there. We have crazy work schedules. And so he's planning on going soon, but what we're doing this year is we're raising funds to send as many guys and gals through those programs with them as we possibly can. It on average costs about $3,000 to send one individual through that program. And they have follow-ons, they have couples sessions where you bring your wife or girlfriend with you. They do a lot down there, and their success rate is amazing. There's like an alumni of guys and gals that went through that. We stay really tight. And outside of that, so we're picking a different organization to support every year with this walk, but we're doing other things to raise funds. I mean, Adam and I are known for getting into all kinds of stupid things. So I don't know, if I can raise awareness and money for something, I might go ride a bull or something. It doesn't matter. We'll do whatever. But this walk this year is going to support them. And then the other thing that we've got going, I haven't officially announced it, so maybe you guys are the first one to hear it, but we've opened a gym in Franklin. So one of the things that we struggle with is not having what we consider a mission in life when we get back. It's just what we're doing is not important. You have to have a mission. You have to have something that makes you jump out of your bed in the morning, feet hit the ground, and you're gone, and you're on top of whatever it is that drives you. Well, we get stuck in this rut of not having a mission, not having a purpose. We have to have a mission, purpose-oriented life. That's how we are wired, and it's never right until we get back to that. So what we're doing is we're giving guys an opportunity to start doing things like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, some of the things I've had some background in, and I do a lot, because it gives them a mission. And then we're going to get kids in there. So I grew up in what's called a PAL club, Indianapolis Police Athletic League. That's where I used to get punched in the face. I earned this nose. So we're going to kind of do something similar, but with veterans and all first responders, cops, firefighters, EMS, and we're going to have them working with kids because that gives them a mission. Somebody's counting on them. They're in a leadership role again. The mentor-mentoree relationship is an amazing thing, and I've always explained to people the mentor usually gets more out of it than the mentoree. So we're going to start putting veterans in that capacity where they're working with kids, teaching them basic things. And I've already had guys say, well, what if I'm not into getting hurt, on the mat or punched in the face in a ring? I'm like, are you good at algebra? There's always a kid you can tutor without it. The PAL Club is far more than boxing. The PAL Club was, they had guys tutoring kids in English. It's a wonderful organization, so we're gonna replicate that. We're not gonna reinvent the wheel, we're gonna replicate it down here, but we're gonna incorporate all of what I call sheepdog organizations, military, veterans, police, fire, EMS. We've already assembled an amazing board of directors, and we've got the gym open and running right now. We're gonna offer yoga classes. We're gonna do a lot of different things. But those are some of the goals that we have. That's why we do what we do. As you can tell, I didn't come in here with a rehearsed speech. I just wanted to come in and talk to you guys one-on-one. And with that, if you guys have any questions, I'd like to leave it with a kind of a Q&A if you have any, and then let you guys get off to work. Go ahead, sir.
What do you have in your rucksacks?
A lot of stuff.
Is it stuff to survive on the trip, on the walk, the hike, or whatever? Or
So old school.
a lot of water, I'm assuming?
So old school, their old Ranger standards is 45 pounds, not including food and water, because that happens in ammo, that disappears. So generally, I change of clothing, sleeping bag, and a lot of water and food, different gear that you would need. I actually had a little bit more difficult time getting that rucksack up to 45 to 55 pounds this go around, because I'm in Indiana. I wasn't carrying ammo and a weapon, so I didn't have to carry all those things. And things have changed a little bit. Where I used to run around in the woods, I had big, huge, heavy radio in there, and now we walk around with iPhones. So there was a lot of stuff in there I didn't need. I carried probably a little bit more clothes than I needed, a little extra pair of boots, but we just gear it up and put it on, weigh ourselves, and then hold the standard.
You ever spend any time at Fort Hood?
Thank God, no. That's the big Fort Hood. He asked if I ever spent any time at Fort Hood. Fort Hood is the biggest military installation in the world. I mean, it's insanely huge, and I was perfectly content spending most of my time at Fort Benning, Georgia. So I knew that place like the back of my hand. So go ahead, sir.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Do you have a website with all this information on it?
Okay, we're grunts. Knuckle dragging Mongos. We don't have a website currently. We're going to get that done. We've got a really good board of directors. I know somebody on there is really smart. They're going to figure that out. We have a Facebook
I was
page.
gonna say, you're on Facebook, can you?
Yes, we have a Facebook page. Mongo can figure out the Facebook page. If you just search The Warrior 110, The Warrior 110, and then if you do it through the www.facebook.com/, it's Warrior, but it's WARR 110. So anyway, just search on The Warrior 110. You'll find it. We had an Instagram, but I lost the password. So,
Do you find Indiana to be a veteran-friendly state?
absolutely, one of the most. I've been all over the country. I've been all over the world in this country. So Indiana is one of the highest per capita veteran states in the Union. And then Johnson County is actually #1 county in the state of Indiana.
Oh, wow.
Followed by Morgan County, and I think Johnson County beats Morgan County because we have more people. But you can't go anywhere. Is there any veterans in here today? Any? Eric, we got one. You can't go anywhere in Johnson County without running into a veteran. We're like an epidemic. We're everywhere. So, yeah, it's very, very, very veteran friendly in the state of Indiana. I've been to some states, not so much, and I've been to some states that they weren't not friendly, but I was almost an anomaly. Like, oh, you're a veteran, and there's like a room full of 50 people and nobody in there had served, and that was the norm. They were like, I was like this weirdo that came in. They're like, wow, what's wrong with him? Why'd he serve? So it's different, and I love it here. That's a big one. I've been all over the place. I wouldn't live anywhere else.
You said you have some businesses. What are those?
I have a distribution company. I have the Mint in Franklin, Indiana, which I co-own with a couple of brothers by the name of Scott and Thomas Moore. Couldn't ask for better business partners. We actually got the building for the office space upstairs, and then it used to be an Elks Lodge, so there's a bar in it. one of my other jobs is I am a business consultant as well, and I've owned several bars and restaurants over the years. I kind of thought I was over that, and they were like, let's just open a bar here. If it pays the rent, you know, it'd be good. And I'm like, all right, but just so you know, I'm creating the bar I want to hang out in. So we don't do Jaeger bombs. It's an adult place. It's a bourbon and a cocktail. It's some Southern Comfort country food that your doctor would get very upset with you if you knew you were eating it. You don't have to worry about 22-year-old Billy spilling his 19th Jaeger bomb on you. It's like a Cheers. It's an adult environment. So, and again, I'm consulting, and then I also own a private investigations firm.
Oh, cool.
So that's all I'm doing today. So,
You got a lot of free time.
yeah, you get all the sleep you need when you're dead. I always joke with my people, like, sleep's a crutch for the weak. So, anything else? Yeah.
I don't know if you can speak to this, but would you say of the men and women that return, what percentage of them do you think have these issues? Is it like over half? Is it 20%? Just of the population of vets? Just for curiosity.
That would be a hard thing for me to put a number on for the same thing. Like they say 1 out of 3 women have admitted to being sexually assaulted. That's admitted.
Okay.
So how high is that number really? It's incredibly higher than that, which is horrible. So I don't know. We're still trying to break that stereotype of, a lot of times, like I didn't know, everybody around me knew I had it, but I didn't know I had it. You know, when it came to post-traumatic stress and all that, like I just thought I turned into a jerk. So that's hard to tell, but I say the number's pretty high, and it's all, everybody's different. People get it for some saw something that they just can't wrap their head around. They're having a difficult time processing it. They can't compartmentalize it. Just the door keeps getting kicked open and it keeps coming out, and they haven't figured out a process. Mine wasn't so much of anything I saw or I was involved in, but it was, so I was over there as a soldier early on in the war. And, you know, we're over there thinking we're fighting the good fight. You know, I watched all those World War II movies and The Greatest Generation, and we're doing all these wonderful things, and we're making this huge difference in the world. And then I go back, you know, and fast forward a decade later, I'm over there as a senior contractor, program manager for the whole country with an organization, and I'm going back to the places that I ran around as a young soldier, and it's like I was never there. It was pointless. I'm like, guys died right there for no reason. We haven't fought an 18-year war. We fought 18 one-year wars back to back to back. And that was hard for me. So it's like a very poetic bad B movie scene where I'm sitting on the side of a mountain and I'm like, you know what, this is dumb. I'm out. I'm done. I called home. I said, I'm en route. I called the owner of the business that I worked for. I said, I'm done. I'm going to hand it over to my deputy program manager. And after about 45 days of ripping him in, I was out and I never went back. And then, and that's when I came home and quickly found myself spiraling down underneath that black cloud. Put on a lot of weight, got real out of shape, drank way too much alcohol, was self-medicating. I was on all the meds the doctors gave me, which that was not good. I was on 5 different medications. One I was eating horribly. It didn't help that I owned an Italian restaurant at the time. I was eating horribly every day. So I had blood pressure medicine, I had cholesterol medicine, I had a pill that I say was so I wouldn't murder people, I had another pill so I wouldn't murder myself, and I had another pill because those two had me drooling in a Dixie cup to wake me up, and I'm like, this is stupid. And I woke up one day, I got angry at it, I flushed all that. I don't recommend that to anybody. I flushed all of them down the toilet. I went on a 4-day fast where I drank coffee and water. After the first 4 days, I went to one small 100% protein meal for the remainder of that month, and then I expanded that meal to a larger meal for the next 2 months. So at the end of 3 months, I'd lost over 45 pounds. I lost almost 30 in the first month. Started working out again, and I got back to being me. And I just, like I said, I got very lucky to pull through this myself. The way I'm wired, I finally had to get mad at it. I had to see it, I had to get mad at it, and I had to attack it. And that's what I did. And then I started the process of getting right mentally, because you can't be right mentally if you're physically not right. You have to chase positive physical health if you ever want to achieve positive mental health. I tell people it's very hard to be mentally right if you just have a very negative impression of your physical well-being. And I'm not saying you have to go be in this amazing shape or anything like that, but you need to eat clean, you need to try, you need to feel good about yourself. And it was a difficult thing to do, but somehow, you know, I found the strength to do it, and here I am.
Hey, one final question. How can people contribute to the Warrior 110?
That's a good question. I like that question. Well, I don't know if you guys know, JC's pledged to donate 10% of all his profits for the next month, or total net.
2 months.
Next 2 months to the Warrior 110, which I think is huge. I can't thank him enough for that. We've set up a few ways. One, there's the old-fashioned write us a check. We do have the 501c3 non-for-profit. We have the account set up. You can just write a check to the Warrior 110. The other is we have a PayPal that's set up just for that as well. You can go online on our Facebook page, the Warrior 110, and donate, contribute right to that. And I guess first I would say to anybody who did that, thank you very much. And for 2 reasons. 1, trying to help those that need help. And then 2, trusting us to do just that, to help. Because we're going to work hard, and you have my word that money will go a long way, and we'll ensure that it goes to helping a lot of people that need that help.
Okay, thank you.
I'll do the whole hug thing, but I think that's enough right now.
You know, I was having that same feeling. I just wanted to give a hug, but I know that we cannot do that. So thank you so much for being such an inspiration to us early this morning, and what you're doing for those true heroes that we have around us all the time. And JC stepping up to the plate, that's awesome. So we really are encouraged by the work that you're doing, because we know there are a lot of people suffering from PTSD that, you know, maybe didn't have that military connection. So thank you again for being here.
You're more than welcome.
Okay, alrighty, we've got Happy Dollars.
Got a happy dollar. I want to thank JC for inviting our guests. Great.